It's 10 p.m. The house is quiet, but your mind is loud. You're staring at a glowing screen, your thumb moving in a blur, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. An hour passes, then two. You feel a familiar, dull ache, a mix of anxiety and exhaustion. You have a dozen things to do tomorrow. Your calendar is a fortress of overlapping blocks. You feel productive, but you also feel empty. We live in the age of the busyness paradox. We are obsessed with optimization, with life hacks, with squeezing every last drop of productivity from our days. We have instant communication, high-speed travel, and tools that promise to save us time. Yet the single most common complaint of the 21st century is, "I have no time." We are time-rich in theory, but time-poor in practice. We are so busy managing our lives that we have forgotten to live them. What if this isn't a new problem? What if this feeling of frantic, meaningless activity isn't a bug of our digital age, but a timeless feature of the human condition? And what if the most potent antidote to this modern sickness wasn't written in Silicon Valley, but in ancient Rome, 2,000 years ago? His name was Lucius Annaeus Seneca, a statesman, one of the wealthiest men in the Roman Empire, and a core figure in the philosophy of Stoicism. He lived at the heart of political power and danger, advising the volatile Emperor Nero. He saw firsthand how the most powerful people in the world were often the most miserable, slaves to their ambitions, their fears, and their pleasures. In a short, explosive essay written to his father-in-law, Seneca offered a diagnosis of humanity that is so accurate it feels like it was written this morning. He opens with a thunderbolt. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it. Let that sink in. He argues that life, for most of us, is amply long. The problem isn't the quantity of our time, but the quality of our attention. We don't live, we merely exist. This essay on the shortness of life is not a gentle lament. It is an indictment. It is a manual for reclaiming the one asset we are given for free, and yet we squander with astonishing recklessness. Seneca saw the people around him as the preoccupied, men and women who postponed their own lives. They lived in service to a future that might never arrive, or in nostalgic bondage to a past they couldn't change. They gave away their time to anyone who asked for it, as if it were a worthless trinket, only to panic on their deathbeds when they realized it was the one thing they could never get back. In this documentary, we are going to deconstruct Seneca's 2,000-year-old guide. This isn't just an academic exercise. This is an intervention. We will first explore the man himself, a figure of profound contradiction. Then we will dive deep into his diagnosis, identifying the timeless archetypes of time wasters that he described. And we will hold them up to our own lives. We will see how the Roman senator obsessed with his reputation is no different than the modern professional obsessed with their LinkedIn profile. Finally, we will build a bridge from his ancient wisdom to our modern chaos. We will extract Seneca's practical, actionable framework for investing our time, rather than just spending it. The question this documentary asks is simple, but its answer will define the rest of your life. Are you truly living, or are you just preoccupied?
To understand the medicine, we must first understand the physician. Who was this man who diagnosed our universal sickness? Was he a bearded hermit meditating in a cave detached from the world? Far from it. Lucius Annaeus Seneca was, to put it mildly, a profound and deeply uncomfortable contradiction. He was not a detached observer. He was the ultimate insider. Born in Corduba, Spain, around 4 BC, he was a new man in Rome, his family rising to prominence through intellect, not ancient blood. His father, Seneca the Elder, was a celebrated rhetorician. The young Seneca was brilliant, ambitious, but plagued by ill health, which he later said gave him his first lessons in philosophy, learning to master a body that often failed him. He quickly climbed the cursus honorum, the political ladder of Rome, becoming a senator and a celebrated orator. And he became, by any measure, astonishingly, fabulously wealthy. He was a landowner on a massive scale. He was a moneylender whose loans extended across the empire. And here we must pause. This is the first great challenge to his work. How can a man who owned palaces, who was neck-deep in the cutthroat world of Roman finance, dare to write a manual telling us not to be preoccupied with such things? How can the man who writes, "Poverty is no evil," be one of the richest men in the world? His critics, both ancient and modern, have called him a hypocrite. And if his philosophy demanded poverty, they would be right. But it does not. This is a critical misunderstanding of Stoicism. Stoicism does not condemn wealth. It demands indifference to it. Wealth, to the Stoics, is a preferred indifferent. It is preferable to have it than not, but it has zero bearing on your virtue or your inner tranquility. It is a prop on the stage of life. It can be used well, or it can be used poorly. The goal is to be able to possess it without being possessed by it. Seneca's writings were not a boast of his own perfection. They were his personal armor. They were his practice. He was writing these reminders to himself, a man who felt the pull of ambition and luxury more than anyone. But his wealth was not even the greatest of his contradictions. His real test began when he was called to the most dangerous job in the world, tutor to the young, unstable heir to the throne, Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus. We know him as Nero. In the last module, we met the man, the wealthy, powerful, endangered insider. Now we must confront his ideas. The engine of On the Shortness of Life is not a gentle suggestion. It is a surgical and at times brutal diagnosis of a wasted existence. Seneca begins by identifying a class of people he calls the occupati, the preoccupied. These are not just people who are busy in the modern sense. They are people whose minds are occupied by forces other than their own will. They are, in his words, slaves to their possessions, slaves to their careers, and slaves to their desires. Let's dissect Seneca's timeless archetypes of the preoccupied. As we do, hold them up like a mirror. You will find they are uncomfortably familiar. First is the man living in hope. This is the person who lives in constant anticipation. He sacrifices his present for a future that is not guaranteed. He tells himself, "I will start living after this next promotion," or "I will finally relax after the kids are grown," or "I will find peace after I retire." Seneca is ruthless against this mindset. He writes, "You are living as if destined to live forever. Your own frailty never enters your head. You squander time as if you drew from a full and abundant supply, though all the while that very day which you bestow on some person or thing is perhaps your last." This is the 2,000-year-old portrait of the modern-day ladder climber, the person who works 80-hour weeks, sacrificing their health, their family, and their own mind, all for a future title on a business card. They are perpetually becoming, but never being. They are, as Seneca says, preparing to live, but never actually living. The second archetype is the person obsessed with trivialities and the approval of others. Seneca mocks the scholars of his day who obsessed over useless trivia, like how many oars were on Ulysses' ship. He attacks those who spend their days consumed by luxury, by elaborate banquets, or by curating their public image. And here is the bridge to our world. Is this not a perfect description of the age of social media? We are a culture obsessed with trivial scholarship, the minutiae of celebrity lives, the endless churn of online drama. We have become the occupati Seneca described, spending our precious, finite hours curating a digital life for the approval of strangers, while our actual life, the one happening right now, in this room, in this body, slips through our fingers. We are so concerned with performing our life that we forget to inhabit it. The third archetype is the person living in the past. This is the individual trapped in nostalgic regret or basking in the glow of old achievements. They lament, "If only I had," or they boast, "Remember when I..." Uncomfortably, Seneca groups these people, those living in the future and those living in the past, into the same category. Why? Because both are stealing from the only time that is actually real, the present. This leads to his central, devastating charge. Seneca observed that if you asked a man for money, he would guard his wallet fiercely. If you tried to take a tiny piece of his land, he might start a war. But if you asked that same man for an hour of his day, for a pointless meeting, for idle gossip, for a favor he didn't want to do, he would give it away as if it were worthless. He writes, "No one sets a value on time. They use it lavishly as if it cost nothing. You will see that the most powerful and highly placed men let drop words in which they long for leisure, praise it, and prefer it to all their blessings, but they never make time for it." We are time thieves, and the person we are stealing from is our future self. So, if that is how not to live, what is the alternative? Seneca makes a sharp, critical distinction between merely existing and truly living. For most of the occupati, their entire existence is just time. It's a sequence of events. They are passive. They are a leaf tossed in a stream, reacting to external forces, their boss's demands, their phone's notifications, their fleeting desires. Truly living, for Seneca, requires one essential, non-negotiable ingredient: otium. In our modern world, we translate otium as leisure, and we immediately get it wrong. Our idea of leisure is passive consumption. It's binge-watching a series, scrolling through a feed, or vegging out. It is an escape. It is numbness. To Seneca, this is just another form of being preoccupied. It is just a distraction, not life. True otium is active, internal work. It is leisure, yes, but it is the leisure of the philosopher. It is the time we set aside specifically to possess our own minds. It is the act of engaging in self-reflection, in reading great works, in studying the nature of the universe, and in contemplating your own mortality. It is the time you spend detached from the crowd, detached from the noise, and attached to your own soul. The proud life we really live is small, Seneca says, for all the rest of existence is not life, but merely time. This brings us to the antidote. How do we reclaim our time and begin to truly live? Seneca offers two powerful, practical tools. First, the daily review. This is the time audit. Seneca, like other Stoics, practiced a nightly review. Before sleep, he would ask himself, what fault did I cure today? What vice did I resist? In what way am I a better person? This is the bridge to modern intentionality. We must become, in his words, a good husband of our time. At the end of your day, look back. Be an honest accountant. Where did your hours go? How many were invested in learning, in meaningful connection, in genuine otium, and how many were squandered, given away to pointless meetings, to mindless scrolling, to anxieties about a future you cannot control. The act of measuring your time is the first step to mastering it. And second, and most important, study philosophy. This, to Seneca, is the ultimate high ROI activity. It is the only way to make your short life long. How? Because the study of philosophy, Seneca argues, allows you to annex the past. When you sit down to read the works of Plato, of Zeno, of Aristotle, of Epicurus, you are adding their lifetimes to your own. You are inviting the greatest minds in history to be your counselors. You can, in his words, hold conversations with them. You are breaking free from the tiny, frantic prison of your own brief existence and becoming a citizen of the entire history of human thought. The person who does this, Seneca says, is the only one who is truly at leisure. He alone, de vives, for he is not only the careful guardian of his own time, but he annexes every age to his own. In an age of 15-second videos and 280-character thoughts, Seneca's prescription is radical. Stop consuming the shallow. Stop giving your time away. Withdraw from the noise. Conduct a daily audit and engage deeply and meaningfully with the timeless minds of the past. Because only then, he argues, will you stop merely existing and finally, truly, begin to live.
A philosophy is not a set of beliefs, it is a set of tools. And like any tool, its true worth is only revealed when it is used under pressure. Seneca's entire life was a case study in pressure. But his philosophy would be put to two final, brutal tests. Events that would strip him of everything and force him to live and die by the very principles he preached. The first test was exile. In 41 AD, under the reign of Emperor Claudius, Seneca was banished to the remote island of Corsica, accused of adultery with the emperor's niece. He was stripped of his titles, his political power, and his immense wealth. The ultimate insider was now the ultimate outsider. Imagine this, from the heart of global power to a barren rock in the Mediterranean. For 8 years he lived in this desolate landscape. This was the perfect, nightmarish laboratory for his Stoic ideals. He had nothing but his otium, his inner leisure. He had nothing but his own mind to occupy. This is where he wrote his Consolation to Helvia, a letter to his mother, which stands as a masterpiece of Stoic strength. In it, he tells her not to grieve for him. He argues that his location doesn't matter because his mind is free. He writes, "Wherever I have gone, I have taken my two most precious possessions, my reason and my tranquility. For what is there in exile that can make a wise man miserable? His happiness depends on his own mind, not on his location." He was, in theory, the perfect Stoic. But history, like humanity, is never that simple. In that same exile, Seneca also wrote desperate, fawning letters to Claudius's powerful secretary, begging to be recalled. He was human. He was flawed. He was attached to his life in Rome, and he did suffer. This contradiction does not invalidate his philosophy. It proves its necessity. His Stoicism was not a cape of invincibility. It was his shield, his medicine, his practice. It was the daily agonizing struggle to choose reason over despair. In 49 AD, the political winds shifted. Claudius's new wife, Agrippina, had Seneca recalled. But it was a poisoned gift. He was to return for one purpose, to become the tutor to her 12-year-old son, the boy who would become Emperor Nero. For a time, as we have seen, he guided the state.
But as Nero grew, his paranoia and depravity spiraled out of control. Seneca, his influence waning, tried to retire to escape the monster he had helped create. But you do not simply retire from the court of a tyrant. In 65 AD, a major plot to assassinate Nero, the Pisonian conspiracy, was discovered. Whether Seneca was truly involved is irrelevant. His name came up, and for Nero, that was enough. The final test had arrived. This is the climax of Seneca's life, and the final, bloody exclamation point on his essay. A centurion arrived at Seneca's villa with the emperor's command, "Seneca must die." The historian Tacitus describes the scene. Seneca was at dinner with his wife, Paulina, and 2 friends. He received the news not with panic, but with absolute philosophical calm. He was, in his final moments, the good husband of his time. Nero had seized his will, so he could not leave his friends any money. Instead, he turned to them and said he would leave them his one remaining possession, imaginem vitae suae, the pattern of his life. He embraced his wife, and to comfort her, he had to borrow strength from his own philosophy, urging her not to be consumed by grief, but to find solace in the memory of his virtuous life. Then he ordered the physicians to cut his veins. But his body, old and frail, betrayed him. His blood flowed too slowly. He was dying, but not fast enough. To hasten the end, he took a dose of poison, the same used to execute Socrates. It had no effect. He was a man who wrote that life is not about its length, but its depth. And now, his life was refusing to end. Finally, he was carried to a hot bath. He was placed in the steaming water, and as the vapors rose, he suffocated. All the while, Tacitus says, dictating his final philosophical thoughts to his scribes. This is the ultimate memento mori. His essay was not a polite suggestion. It was a desperate plea, written by a man who knew that the end could come at any moment by decree of a madman. His death was his final, greatest lecture. Nero could command his body, but he could not command his mind. Seneca showed that even in the last agonizing moments, you can choose to be the master of your own soul. You can choose to truly live right up until the very last second. He did not waste his death, just as he urged us not to waste our lives.
The steam from Seneca's bath fades. His story ends, but his argument does not. We are left with his final challenge, the pattern of his life, and the piercing accuracy of his words. We are left to look up from his world and see with uncomfortable clarity our own. We no longer live in Neronian Rome. We do not fear the centurion at the door. And yet we are surrounded by our own preoccupied lives. Seneca's 2,000-year-old diagnosis is a mirror to the 21st century soul. His trivial scholarship is our doom-scrolling. His men living in hope are our culture of living for the weekend, enduring 5 days of existing for 2 days of living. His passive leisure is our 8-hour binge watch, an entire workday spent in a digital stupor, escaping our lives rather than inhabiting them. His senators, who gave away their hours to anyone who asked, are us. We are trapped in endless back-to-back video calls, checking emails at the dinner table, letting our time be stolen, sliver by sliver, by the trivial demands of others. We guard our money with paranoid zeal, but we let our phones steal our attention, our life, as if it were worthless. Seneca's death was a memento mori,
a reminder of death, but his life was a memento vivere, a reminder to live. The question is, how? How do we break the cycle and build the bridge from his ancient wisdom to our modern chaos? The answer is not to abandon our lives and become hermits. Seneca was no hermit. The answer is to possess our lives. His antidote is profoundly practical. It begins with the daily audit. This is Seneca's nightly review, modernized. Be an honest accountant of your time. At the end of your day, ask, where did my hours go? How much time did I invest in my mind, my health, my family? And how much time did I squander to distraction, to anxiety, to passive consumption? You cannot manage an asset you do not measure. Second, we must reclaim the power of no. In our culture, no is a confrontation. We must relearn it as an act of self-preservation. Every yes to a pointless meeting, to a social media feed, to an obligation you resent, is a no to something that matters. It is a no to your otium, your leisure. It is a no to your life. To say no is to declare that your time is valuable. Finally, we must redefine our leisure. Our modern leisure is numbness. It is an escape from life. Seneca's otium is an engagement with life. It is active leisure. This means replacing 1 hour of scrolling with 1 hour of reading a great book, annexing the past. It means replacing a night of passive binge-watching with an evening of genuine connection with a friend or a partner. It means replacing the noise of a podcast with 10 minutes of simple, silent contemplation, of possessing your own mind. This is not doing nothing. It is the most important something you can possibly do. Seneca's final lesson is this: you are the sole custodian of your time. It is your one and only true possession. It is the raw material of your life. We are all living the life Seneca described. The only question is, which part? Are we the preoccupied, running on a treadmill, chasing a future that never comes, giving away our hours until none are left? Or are we the philosopher, the one who stops, takes account, and understands the stakes? The one who cultivates an inner citadel, who reads the great minds, and who understands that the depth of life, not its length, is what matters. Seneca's opening line was not a lament, it was a promise. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it. Life is long if you know how to use it. The end of your life is not yet written. The hourglass is still yours to turn, but the sand is falling. The time to live, truly, deeply, and intentionally, is not tomorrow. It is not after this one last thing. It is now. Stop existing. Start living.
Thank you for watching. We post new documentaries on philosophy and history every week. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.